on to State Senator Adam Ebbin.
Happy almost St. Patrick's Day. And thank you, Alan. Thank you, Frank, for having me tonight. I'm Adam Ebbin, and I'm going to be just as proud to be your congressman as I've been proud to represent Arlington for more than a decade in Richmond in the General Assembly, first in the House, and now in the Senate. You know, I always knew I was different. Even at 5 years old, I knew I was different. When kids were gathered around the flagpole in kindergarten, 1968, kids were chanting at me. They chanted, "Nixon, Nixon, Nixon." And I chanted back, "Humphrey, Humphrey, Humphrey." And I really am different. I've spent more than a decade passing progressive legislation in Richmond through a General Assembly that includes an often hostile House of Delegates. Just this past month, I was successful in a year-long effort to repeal the hybrid tax. And when Walter Tejada asked me when I was a freshman in the House of Delegates, he said, "Can you get a public defender office for Arlington and Falls Church?" And I said, "I'll try." And we were successful in that effort. But the legislation that I'm proudest of is expanding Medicaid to benefit immigrant mothers in Virginia. And it makes me a little bit different because I believe I'm the only candidate in this race that expanded Medicaid in Virginia. But I want to tell you a story first, or a story before I conclude, that touches my heart. You know, there was a year in Richmond with a lot of anti-gay, homophobic legislation, even more than usual. And we have pages in the General Assembly. In the House where I was at the time, there are 100 members and maybe about 20 pages or so. And they have to not show emotion, no reaction to the things that are said. And they do a mock session at the end of the legislative year. And I noticed a young woman sitting in my seat during the session, and I thought it was great that she's there just voting for me on their resolution. But it wasn't until months later when I spoke to a high school group, a Gay Straight Alliances, that I looked at in the audience, and I saw that same young woman. And I know how tough it is. I thought about how tough it was for her to be young and gay and endure that kind of rhetoric. And when I'm your congressman, I'm not just going to be there for her. Like Jim Moran, I'm going to be there for everyone who has it tough, and that's why I'm running for Congress. I'm not the loudest person running. I'm not going to make you the loftiest promises. I'm just an effective legislator who shares your values. I know how to get the job done, and I've proven that I'll effectively speak out when we need it most. I ask for your support today and for your vote on June 10th. Thank you.